All right, today we've got Bryce Morrison with BryceTime.com, and we're starting out with a purpose defined by Bryce as, my sole purpose is to maximize the ability of each of my real estate agents to reach their intended audiences and grow their net worth exponentially. So Bryce, like we talked about pre-recording here, that's obviously a little deeper than most people start, right? Some people are starting kind of in that range of, I like to help people. So we're going to work through giving you the benefit of the doubt there. So I do want to hear where that comes from for you. Where does that defined purpose come from?
I think it begins with my background. I went straight into the military when I graduated high school, and I had already been in sales of the retail kind before the military, and then found leadership within the Navy. And even while I was in the Navy, I did some sales on the side. And then when I left the Navy, I went back into sales and I took leadership roles in sales afterward. And what I found was I really enjoyed teaching and leading salespeople. I enjoyed sales, but I got bored with it very quickly. Once I figured out the formula, once I figured out how to sell something, I got bored and I wanted more of a challenge. So I figured out the deeper layer was, how do I get this person to be better at selling this other person? So there's a psychology to it. If I can figure out this person and their personality and how they would interact with this other personality, then it's more interesting to me. It's like a puzzle. So that leadership aspect of it, that interest in the teaching is what drives me.
Okay. So really kind of where you're coming from with that on your side is interest and enjoyment.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a passion.
So what other things do you have interest in and enjoy?
I love to cook. I actually love movies. I love my wife and my family, my little dog. So those kind of things.
So it sounds like you've got a couple other
I love
things.
travel.
Travel too. Okay. So sounds like you've got a couple other things there that you have passion around as well. So when you define what, where I asked you to define it in one sentence, if someone would ask you, you put in there that my sole purpose. I would argue that what you just told me, even after just one question, now you've opened this up to, okay, maybe there is more than just one, right? Maybe, the family may come in there first, it might not just be the agents, it might be teaching, it might be enjoyment, and there's a lot of things that can come into that. So I would challenge your purpose a bit here and say, when I asked you that, why is that your purpose? And so we went down to that next level of, okay, enjoyment. Okay, well, why do you enjoy teaching? Why do you enjoy the growth factor of that? Because I'm sure you apply that into, you're learning and teaching cooking, you're learning and teaching about your family. So with that coming into play, why do you enjoy that so much?
I think it's a matter of, I've figured out sharing all of those things can be done in a professional way as well. So as an example, we're running a competition right now. If my agents get a certain number of listings, I'm going to take them out. And I gave them a survey and said, what do you guys want to do? I gave them a list of different options and gave them the ability to throw other things in there if they wanted to. They came up with a sunset cruise. But one of the things I put in there was a cooking class, and that came in second. So, it's things like that. If I share a passion, I want to share it with them. So it's just travel, the sunset cruise, it's things that if it interests me and I can bring it into my profession as well, if I can combine those passions and I can find others that combine those passions, we all win.
So you're definitely creating different ways to do that. So now we've got enjoyment, fun, interest, and also some combining aspect of there. So you're sort of creating in that aspect. So in your business, what do you do obviously you're creating, that kind of thing. I see the wordsmith up there with the Real Training Institute. So obviously you're bringing something in, you've got the interesting, the digital background there with with what you got going on there. How does that part come into play with what you're doing now as well?
My background, I went into journalism in high school, and I guess, and I somehow ended up in a competition for business law, even though I never even studied it. I somehow spelling and things, words came easy to me. And I even studied Latin in college, but all that happened after, college happened after the military. And even in the military, I was criticized for using $10 words. My vocabulary just happened to be a little bit more advanced. And I actually had to figure out how to speak in a different way in a lot of occasions, a lot of different situations. But what it does allow me to do is it allows me to write. It allows me to do a lot more social media. It allows me to communicate in ways that get through to others, and use NLP. And my background, when I was in the military, one of the things I did, I was a substance abuse counselor, and we were taught cognitive behavioral therapy. So that enters into the way I communicate. So I'm able to use those things to help people make decisions that are right for them. And that allows me to help my agents communicate in a better way to guide their clients. So that's where the wordsmith comes from. And now in the digital age with AI and social media, I'm using all of that to facilitate every bit of it.
The words, obviously, being able to communicate that piece that's important, revolving around what you said your passion is being able to teach them, right? Because everybody's at a different level. To me, a lot of this stuff comes off as you enjoy the challenge of that aspect. Now, how does some of this stuff apply in the family life of what you're currently going through? I don't know your family situation or anything, but what, with because you did mention family, how does some of this stuff apply in your family aspect?
Well, my wife and I are empty nesters now. So, we actually really enjoy travel. So we actually own a travel agency as well. And we take advantage of that every opportunity we get. We take 3 or 4 cruises a year and do some other travel whenever we can. But we work together a lot. And when we're not working together, we enjoy movies and cooking together. So as far as family is concerned, and every function, every business event that we have, we go together. So we just commingle our professional and personal lives. For us, that works. It doesn't work for everybody. A lot of people cannot do that. And in some ways, we struggled with it early on, but we figured out how to make it work. We separate certain things and we keep other things very close.
So a lot of the same things in the family then. Obviously, I'm at a little different stage with the empty nester piece. I do have my first ones on the way, actually. So pretty excited about that. But being able to relate to that empty nester part, I kind of did it in reverse, right? Like I'm almost 35 now and don't have any children. So, I've been kind of experiencing those travel aspects in that regard too. So I fully understand that, like, being able to mix things and being able to get out there and, especially with not having, for you not having the children to watch anymore, that makes it a little bit easier to commingle those things. And I'm sure some of those struggles early on in that probably had something to do with being able to have the kids taken care of and making sure everything was taken care of at home as well. What's the let's see, how do your agents change or transform as a result of what you give them in the coaching aspect or the guidance aspect?
I'll give you one really clear example. I have one agent that is English as a second language, and that can be a little bit of a struggle in communication. So you